Welcome to episode number 15 of the Go For Two podcast. I am your host, Jackson Wallace. I got my buddy Lucas here with me. Lucas, how you doing, pal?
Fantastic. How are you? How are you, Jackson? I usually don't ask you, all right? Because I usually don't care.
Because you don't care about my feelings. But
that's right.
No, I'm feeling good. We just drove to Houston today. So we drove there, we drove back, had a lunch meeting, went to Papados. You ever been to Papados?
No, you asked me that earlier on the phone.
I did text you this earlier, but I'm asking you again for the podcast. Anyway, no,
You know
so I went to...
They don't care.
I went to Papados. Of course, it's a seafood restaurant, so naturally, I got chicken fingers.
Yeah, Jackson and his brother are strange people. They only eat chicken and cheeseburgers.
We're gonna get into some questions from Casey. Casey, as always, shout out to Casey Crawford, the man, the myth, the legend, always leaving comments and questions in the YouTube comments down below. Be sure to do that, guys. If you want your question or comment featured on the podcast, we'll do them all. First one. He says A plus. He said, he's like, dang, that is about the Redskins. Well, guys, what I want to say is bleep the Redskins. Bravo. Like always, love listening to y'all while I am grooming dogs. Thank you, Casey. But he has two questions, Lucas. Okay.
Ooh.
One specifically to you, right? And then another one kind of for both of us.
Okay. Right? We'll start with the one to me.
Okay. So he says, so question to Lucas, aka the man.
I appreciate it.
Do you like bass fishing, and would you do fishing fancy? He says, LOL, I've already asked Jackson. He was like, heck no. So Lucas, are you a bass fishing fan?
So I do like fishing. Fishing's awesome. Actually at my house, we live on 50 acres. We have 2 ponds with like bass and crappie and bluegill. Good time. But I actually don't get to go and fish on the river a lot. I've only been like 3 or 4 times in my life.
Yeah.
So I have to say I don't know enough to be on. You said fishing fancy?
Fishing fancy, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it bad? I don't know what that is. I guess
I'm assuming it's his own show. You're a terrible friend, Jackson. Jesus.
No, he's got his own show, Bank Fishing, premiering actually this week. You guys should go give it a watch on Facebook.
I thought Fishing Fancy was the name of the show. Anyways, look.
Yeah.
So I don't know enough, so I wouldn't be able to be on there because I'd be a terrible guest. Next question for both of us.
He says, okay, guys, I got a football question. Do you guys collect football cards? I do when I can, and it's bomb, bros. Lucas, I have a Titans binder with Titans cards, bro. LOL.
Yo, so when I was in middle school and intermediate school, I loved football cards for forever. Like, I had, like, my Vince Young card. I had a Steve McNair Pro Bowl card. I had an Eddie George card. So, like, I had some cool stuff. My favorite, I had a bus card, Jerome Bettis.
Oh, yes, the bus.
And then my Steve McNair Pro Bowl card were my favorite ones. But I have no idea where they're at now. I don't know if that is, like, worth any money or what's going on. But I got out of it because my parents didn't want to spend money to buy me football cards. And, like, I just haven't got into it now because used to, like, every time I went to Walmart, you know, you go to check out and you're like, bam, you see they got the Yu-Gi-Oh cards and the football cards over there, and I was always eyeballing it. But now I go into Walmart and I'm like, I just want to get out of here. So
get your pizza rolls and get out. I collected football cards for a little bit. I got a lot of different Cowboys cards, some kind of Cowboys Legends ones, different ones. Kind of like you, I think we put them in storage sometime somewhere, and I don't know where they are. But yeah, football cards were not a huge part of my childhood. Pokemon was the stuff, was it, man. That was the childhood. Okay, I played all the games, had all the cards.
No.
Right? And of course I lost it.
Yu-Gi-Oh was the card game when I was little, bro. But
I feel you.
But for football cards, like, I think I've thought about, like, getting into it more, but I just don't have the money now. So, like, when I get out of college and get a job and stuff and actually, like, have the money to go do that, that'd be awesome. But right now I'm living on my father's money and the little bit that I make in the summer, which pays for my tuition. So
quite nice. What's our first topic, Mr. Lucas?
You know, Jackson, you know, I tell you have anger issues sometimes. You're pretty quick sometimes on the trigger. Myles Garret is too. All right.
He really is, man. Oh my gosh, Myles Garret. Me and Lucas watched that go down live. Of course, we weren't there at the game, but we were watching it together. Thursday nights, we have a little football watch party, and we're taking notes for the podcast the next week. And we're watching, and Lucas is like, dude, do you see the brawl that is ensuing? What is going down? And we went through and we watched it. We watched the replay, and we were like, man, I told him, I said, Lucas, his season's over. He's like, you think? And I was like, yes, absolutely, his season's over. But so yeah, let's talk about Myles Garrett. Here's the thing that I have when it comes down to him. There's 8 seconds left in the ball game. I don't see what's necessary about smashing somebody's head in with their own helmet. So pretty much what happened in the breakdown of the play, if you go back and watch the replay, Rudolph dropped back to pass. The pass was ultimately incomplete, but after the pass, or during it, I should say, Myles Garrett goes to tackle him. He follows through and brings him down and lands on top of him. Mason Rudolph, of course, does not like this, and starts trying. It looked like I don't know if he got like his hand stuck in the helmet,
He
or
tried
if
to
he
pull
was
it off.
but he was trying to pull it off regardless. He was like wrenching and grabbing and thrusting at the helmet, kind of hitting him while he was underneath. He's trying to get out from underneath Myles Garrett. And as that's happening, Myles Garrett, of course, he's bigger and stronger and, quite the guy. So he gets up, and the linemen are coming over to Rudolph's aid, and they're trying to push Myles Garrett off, but Myles Garrett reaches down, grabs Mason Rudolph's helmet, and starts pulling and yanking on his head. Then he eventually rips it off. The two Pittsburgh linemen are able to push Garrett back, right? And so Myles Garrett is kind of standing there backing up with his helmet in his hand. And him and Rudolph are talking and exchanging words. I imagine they weren't pleasant. Rudolph then charges and runs. I don't really want to say charge, but he runs at Garrett and starts yelling at him and calling him all sorts of names. Anyway, so then Garrett then takes Rudolph's own helmet and smashes Rudolph right over the head. And it looked like he caught him kind of at the bottom part of the helmet on the side. There's not that much cushioning there on the side of the helmet. It's more towards the top is where you have the most protection, obviously, because in case you don't want somebody to get hit on the top of the head, that's for CTE protection. And it was actually quite lucky he didn't hit him with the top of his head, because if he had, I think that would have caused far more damage. Immediately after that, a big brawl ensues. There's punching, there's kicking, there's fighting, screaming, refs all over the field, flags flying everywhere. Ultimately, he gets ejected, and I believe the center, Pouncey, got ejected as well, for fighting on the field. And again, all this is with 8 seconds left. I don't understand why this had to be a big thing. Lucas, what was your reaction before we get into the suspensions, because those came out?
Right.
What was your reaction to watching that unfold?
So first off, I don't think everyone's saying Mason Rudolph started it. Yes, he did. He started it, but going past just a football play. But Myles Garrett definitely. There's 8 seconds left, and you're kind of hitting the guy late. You've got numerous roughing the passer calls throughout the year already. You're kind of hitting it, like, there's no need to hit this guy and to like wrap him up and take him down the way you did, whatever. But a lot of people are saying that Rudolph, like Max Kellerman's like, Rudolph charged him and that's why I got hit in the head with the helmet. There was enough time for him to think, I've got this helmet in my hand and I'm going to take it and I'm going to smack him across the head with it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying he planned to hit the dude in the head, but like, there was enough time, like, the guy came over, he was like, yeah, I'm just going to hit him in the head with this. Like, there was time to stop it, right?
Yeah.
And so, I don't like, part of me doesn't like how it's getting blown out of proportion, because the result is that nothing happened. He's fine, right? Rudolph's fine.
Right.
But the problem is, like, what could have happened, right?
Exactly.
That's the big problem.
What I was about to say.
If he hits him with the harder part of the helmet, and
the crown of
then
it
connects with the temple, or hits him across the eye or something, like cuts this, like,
yeah.
When you start getting into problems like that, like, there's people talking about, like, if he hits him right in the head, he could have a seizure on the field. You could kill him. You could cause permanent damage, like
on live television, on national television.
Exactly. And if he would have dropped the helmet and punched a dude in the face, I would have felt way better. But because he used the helmet as a weapon,
Right.
it's a way worse look, right?
Exactly.
For a player in Myles Garrett, who everyone says is a great guy, he comes from Alabama. He's taught well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know. Part of me wants, like I said, wants to just be like, well, the rest of the season is a bit much, because the rules in the rule book, it says the use of the helmet as a weapon is a 15-yard penalty and you get thrown out of the game. That's it.
Right.
But like many other people have said, in a league where we are striving to protect quarterbacks specifically in the head, you can't take their own helmet and hit them in the head with it. Like, I seen a video, someone took a helmet, like some college kids took a helmet and smacked it into a wooden chair, and the chair broke, right?
Yeah, it's a hard helmet.
Yeah, imagine basically hitting someone in the head with a bat.
Pretty much.
So,
yeah,
it's super crazy. I'm glad nothing bad came out of it, like physically to Rudolph or to anyone else. So then you get into the altercation with the other players. I'm trying to think of who it was. One of the Pittsburgh linemen just kind of like, after that, got Garrett down on the ground, right? And just got on top of him and kept him down. But then Pouncey was like kicking him and stuff. I get you're trying to protect your guy. You're a hero in the locker room after that. But that was kind of uncalled for, because you just got suspended for 3 games and your team's trying to make the playoffs. Like, you're trying to make the wild card spot right now.
Yeah, he went into full defense of the quarterback mode, like.
Yeah, but he took it. He took it a little far too, which is why he got 3 games, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, you see like Ogunjobi comes up behind Mason Rudolph and pushes him down.
Cheap shot, man.
Yeah, cheap shot, completely uncalled for, and like that makes me mad.
Yes, but I think it made everybody mad.
So he got a 1-game suspension. That's fine, whatever. Obviously, we all know what Garret is. Garrett's suspended for the rest of the year and the playoffs, and then potentially could be more of next year. Once they decide, like Jack said here earlier, his appeal is Wednesday.
Yeah, his appeal's tomorrow. So we're recording this Tuesday. So as you guys listening to this Thursday, his appeal was yesterday. So we don't know the outcome of that yet, but we'll see. He did say there are sources saying that Myles Garrett is appealing in person to appeal that, and I guess wants to show his remorse rather than just sending a letter or sending a lawyer. He's going by him. He's going himself as well. So I have the statement from the NFL regarding those suspensions.
Well, here, real quick. Oh yeah. You go ahead, because mine's more in depth.
Yeah. This is the full-on statement that the NFL released. They released this Friday morning of last week, and they say the Pittsburgh Steelers and Cleveland Brown organizations have each been fined $250,000, and 3 players, Cleveland's Myles Garrett and Larry Ogunjobi, and Pittsburgh's Maurkice Pouncey, have been suspended without pay for their actions in Tuesday night and Thursday night's game. Garrett has been suspended without pay indefinitely, at a minimum, for the remainder of the regular season and postseason, and must meet with the commissioner's office prior to a decision on his reinstatement. He was also fined an additional amount. Garrett violated unnecessary roughness and unsportsmanlike conduct rules, as well as fighting, the removing of a helmet of an opponent, and using the helmet as a weapon. Pouncey has been suspended without pay for 3 games and fined an additional amount for fighting, including punching and kicking an opponent. Ogunjobi has been suspended without pay for 1 game and fined an additional amount for unnecessary roughness, specifically for shoving an opposing player to the ground during an altercation. Additional discipline for other players will be forthcoming through the standard accountability process, including those players that left the bench to enter the fight area. We talk about that here in a second. Under the collective bargaining agreement, the suspensions may be appealed within 3 business days. Appeals are heard and decided by either Derek Brooks or James Thrash, the officers jointly appointed and compensated by the NFL and NFL Players Association to decide appeals of on-field player discipline. So that's the official statement from the NFL regarding last Thursday night's actions and altercations. Talking on Myles Garrett for a second, suspended indefinitely. That means he is not getting back on the field until the commissioner says so. That could be for an undetermined amount of time. That will be decided. I imagine, the appeal will be decided yesterday as you guys listen to this, but Um, Ultimately, it's going to come down to the commissioner's decision. And at a minimum for the rest of this year, it's absolutely insane what he was doing. And I don't want to come off as saying that Rudolph was like some kind of a saint or that Rudolph was um, guilt free in any of this
Yeah,
either.
he started the
Right?
fight.
He started it, but at the end of the day, what Myles Garrett did was absolutely inexcusable. There's no room for that in professional sports, period. And it looks bad on the NFL. It looks bad on him. It looks bad on the organization. It really looks bad on Freddie Kitchens and that coaching staff because what was a conversation, what could have been with 8 seconds left in the game, of Cleveland playing a physical football game and showing up and winning has now been eradicated and filled even this through this entire week, the week after this altercation has been all the talk is the Browns are undisciplined. They just do whatever they want. Their coaching staff doesn't have control. Is Myles Garrett a dirty player? Et cetera, et cetera. You go from having good talks about a win to this, and
Right.
absolutely inexcusable. You just can't do that, man. You just absolutely cannot do that.
So I got Myles Garrett. I have his statement from the next day after the game.
Okay.
So he said, "Last night I made a terrible mistake. I lost my cool, and what I did was selfish and unacceptable. I know that we are all responsible for our actions, and I can only prove my true character through my actions moving forward. I want to apologize to Mason Rudolph, my teammates, our entire organization, our fans, and to the NFL. I know I have to be accountable for what happened, learn from my mistake, and I fully intend to do so." And I don't believe that Myles Garrett is a bad guy. Like I said, everything you've heard is that
Right.
everything that you've heard from other people that know him is that he is a great guy. We know he comes from Alabama. We know that's very well established. Like, players come out of there just about as pro ready as you can possibly come out from a school.
Sure.
And so, what bothers me, you brought up.
I think Myles Garrett was from A&M, but
was he really? Have I just been saying this whole time and I'm just stupid?
He might have been born in Alabama. I'm not sure where he was born, but I know he came out of A&M.
Yo, guys, we don't. I can't re-record this, so y'all just go ahead and assume that I am tired or something. Good, I need a good excuse. I'm tired. Anyways, he comes from a good school either way.
He does come from a good school, and it's people that know him say that he's a big old teddy bear, right?
So,
but he lost his cool.
Right, but like this is you said something about the coaches and stuff, like how it reflects on the staff and the management and stuff of the Browns. My problem is that the GM has done a really good job bringing the players in that he's brought in.
Sure.
Odell, Landry, and then you got Baker there, like all these people, and they're all high-profile people also, though. Mm-hmm. And so you've brought these other guys in, but you also lost some vets like Joe Thomas.
Yeah.
All right.
You lost leaders in that locker room.
And so I think this is what happens. You bring in all these crazy high-profile players, and then your freshly drafted guys like Myles Garrett and Baker Mayfield just kind of they don't get checked by those veteran pros as much.
Right. They don't have a Joe Thomas or a Jason Witten in the locker room or a Ray Lewis.
And so I think how Myles Garrett responded and how Ogunjobi responded is a reflection of the team. It's a reflection of the coach.
I agree.
And the locker room. And it's just not. It's definitely a terrible look for the team itself, for all the players involved. Obviously, it looked bad that afterwards all the players like Baker and all them were just tearing into Garrett in the press conference. Like it's bad. But what's really caught me off guard is how other pro players or previously pro players have acted about it. Like, you hear about people just going crazy over it, like Booger McFarland and stuff like that. And I think the reason is because, like, the NFL it's such an exclusive club, right?
Oh, yeah, very exclusive.
So anyone, and it's a hard road to get to. So, like, anyone that has made it, you have respect for every other player on that field, even if if you're on the Patriots and you're playing the Jets, obviously they don't like each other. They're in the same division and everything, and the Patriots recently have always been destroying the Jets. And so they're not going to like each other. But at the end of the day, I think if they had to have each other's back, they at least have that mutual respect of they're NFL players. We know how to act. This is what we do.
Right.
And
There's some
so,
sense of professionalism. Yeah.
right. And so the NFL is a brotherhood because all of you guys have come up from nothing and become what you are today. And
Right.
he kind of went back on that. Like he didn't respect that.
Right. He being Myles Garret, right?
Right, Myles Garrett. And so
Sure.
like Logan Ryan, even the cornerback with the Titans, said that he was like selfish. And I've heard some other pro players refer to it as assault. And there's
Yeah.
talks of people are wanting him to press criminal charges. They were wanting Rudolph to press charges on Garrett. And so
Yeah.
it is
It was
wild.
He made a terribly bad decision, and it was a terribly bad situation. And there's no excuse for it, period, end of discussion at all. And he absolutely deserves to be suspended the rest of the season. Me and Lucas were talking previously about it this week. We think it's possible that he is suspended for another 10 games next season. We were thinking a full year suspension might be in order. I don't know. We'll have to see what the commissioner's decision is. But you know what this reminds me of, and Cowboy fans, you guys might sympathize with this. I think it was 2008, 2009. The Cowboys were in Tennessee playing the Titans, and the Titans had a certain defensive tackle by the name of Albert Haynesworth. And Albert Haynesworth this was just fresh after a play. One of our center, Andre Gerard, was on the field, but he was laying down on the field. I don't know if he was hurt. I can't quite remember. But Albert Haynesworth took his cleat at the end of the play because Gerard's helmet was off. He took his cleat and stomped on Gerard's face. And this reminds me of something like that, just completely unnecessary, physically damaging, could be in some cases life-threatening.
He got
like
6 games for that.
Yeah, 6 games for that. And part of this suspension is a deterrence. The NFL is going to say, if you do something like this, this is what's going to happen. At a minimum, you're losing the rest of the regular season and the postseason. You're suspended indefinitely. So technically, right now, you're out of the league, and we have to reinstate you. And we can only reinstate you when we are completely confident that you will not do something like this again, something this egregious again. So, yeah, and from what I hear, Myles Garrett's a nice guy, and that's great. That's fine, but you can't lose your cool, especially that bad. If it had been a situation to where he has a helmet, he drops it, shoves him one more time, leaves, okay, whatever, 1 to 2 games, you can't be doing that. We move on. But he swung the helmet and hit him in the head. If he had hit him with the crown, like Lucas said, on the temple, at the top of the head, there's too many different variables as to what could happen after that. So, absolutely no room for that in the NFL.
It did come out earlier today that Rudolph will be fined. So I think he should have got a suspension. He should have got a game.
Yeah, something definitely should have happened. Because he completely was not in the clear.
No.
He's trying to wrench his helmet off and push him off, and
yeah, he should have got a game.
Yeah, for real. Anyway, what's our next topic, Mr. Lucas?
No.
You got something else on Myles Garrett?
I did look it up, and he is from Texas A&M.
Yeah, he is from A&M. I told you.
I'm very upset about that.
I thought you meant like he was born in Alabama. That's what I was thinking.
No, so like I 1000% thought he was from Alabama. I am so sorry to everyone.
It's all good, dude. It happens to the best of us.
So there's all kinds of it was the Titans were on bye week this week, and I'm expecting it to be boring, and I was very bored because I didn't have anything to look forward to until Thursday night, and then the Myles Garrett thing happened. So then Friday I had a little bit to listen to, right?
Yeah.
And then Saturday comes along, and the Kapernick thing's going on, and there's plenty of stuff going on with the Kapernick, right?
Oh
right?
yes.
So this is our drama alert episode. All right. So I've got like half a page of stupid stuff written down about Kaepernick and everything that doesn't really matter, but give us the basics of what it is, and then I'll go into all my opinions of this guy and me and all these other people.
Sure. So on Tuesday of last week, the media and Colin Kaepernick were informed that the NFL was putting together a private workout for Colin Kaepernick to be held on Saturday. This happened, of course, last Saturday. It was to be held at the Atlanta Falcons facility. There was to be they were going to film it and dispense that film and that tape to all 32 teams. Any team is invited to attend. All teams were invited. 25 decided that they were going to show up to the workout. Colin Kaepernick was the Atlanta Falcons were going to provide receivers. And I believe some NFL other players from the NFL were going to work out as receivers as well. There was a waiver, and we'll get into this here in just a little bit too, that Colin Kaepernick had to sign. From what we are hearing from Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, and people on First Take, was that this waiver was not typical of normal waivers that average free agents sign for the NFL. This waiver had specifically, now we have a copy of, or a one paragraph difference that we have, and Lucas will read it for you here in a little while. So there was a little bit of a difference in that waiver. I'm not sure exactly to what end. So it was scheduled for a Saturday. Colin Kaepernick had some issues with this. Number one, that it was short notice. And that number two, he wanted this workout to be held on a Tuesday. Reason being, because most teams and coaches and players are getting ready for games the next Sunday and would not be able to attend this workout. They would just send a team representative, a team scout, somebody like that. But coaches themselves wouldn't be able to be present. So he was upset with that. And then he was also upset because he wanted to bring in his own receivers and didn't trust any receivers that the NFL would be providing. So there is clear, and we've known this for the past 3 years, there's been clear distrust between the NFL and between Colin Kaepernick on both sides for legitimate reasons and some unlegitimate reasons. It was an hour and a half, I believe that's correct. I think that's correct, Lucas. An hour and a half before the scheduled workout took place on Saturday. Colin Kaepernick informed the NFL that he was moving the workout to 51 miles away to a local Atlanta high school. He would be bringing his own receivers. He was going to stream it on YouTube Live. And any and all teams are welcome to attend, but he would not be attending the private workout held by the NFL. I believe 7 teams showed up to that workout and saw him. They said from the workout, their notes were he has elite arm talent.
8 teams.
8 teams, excuse me. Elite arm talent. His deep balls were not as pretty as they thought, but that, and one NFL executive said that he looked like he was back on the field from the same time in 2017, the last time he was on. So those were some of the things that the NFL team representative said of Colin Kaepernick's workout. He then made a statement afterwards to the media and to the press saying he is ready. He invites all 32 teams to stop running. He invites all the owners to give him a call. And the ball is now in, quote unquote, the owner's court. And they're ready to go. I believe that is all of the facts pertaining to this situation. Lucas, do you have any thoughts about this Colin Kaepernick workout situation?
So 25 teams showed up, right? So you got 25 of the 32 teams. The NFL has promised to give you a copy of the footage that they're going to give to all the teams, and then they're going to send the footage to all the teams. So, initially, before this stuff about the liability waiver came out, Monday, according to Ian Rappaport and many other people, the main issue was that Kaepernick moved it because he wanted to record it himself, right? He wanted his team to record it.
Yeah, he didn't trust the NFL videographers.
So, and that's come out that there's also this liability waiver thing, and so I want to address like each thing. So there's four main problems that Kaepernick has had with this. The workout was on Saturday instead of Tuesday, and then they only gave him 48 hours to respond. Um, so the whole like it being on Tuesday or Sunday in the middle of the season, I don't think it matters that much, right?
Tuesday or
Like,
Saturday, yeah.
I don't think it's that big of a difference. Tuesday, teams are getting ready for the next week. Coaches are going to be busy. Saturday's the same thing, except he said something about execs like GMs and stuff weren't going to be able to come because they're going to go to the game. I'm not sure if GMs would have came anyways.
Right, and we won't know.
Right, but you had it on a Saturday and 25 teams showed up. That's a pretty big outcome, right?
Yeah.
So like
I would think so.
And then the 48 hours thing. Well, they're telling you this, and this is Tuesday, and they're wanting word by Thursday so that they can get it set up for Saturday. I think 48 hours is a reasonable deadline for the NFL to get everything together that they have to. I mean, you're going to an NFL stadium. They're all NFL staff. Everyone's going to be there. They've arranged for a workout coach and everything for you. Like they're sitting there. You just have to show up.
Yeah.
You just have to show
up and ball out. And according to Stephen A., I hate to cut you off again, Lucas, but according to Stephen A., he said on the next day on First Take when this came out, he said, according to his sources, Kaepernick had to throw the ball into the stands and have a horrifically awful performance not to have a job inside of 2 weeks on a NFL team.
Right. And
that's how we had to just basically work out.
Yeah, dude just had to show up. And of course, him and Max Kellerman debated about that, and Max was like, "Well, I think your source that told you that was just wrong, or didn't know what he was saying. Whatever, it.
Sure.
And it's whatever. Okay. His second big problem was lack of clarity on the receivers. By Thursday or Friday, I believe it was Thursday. The NFL did agree to let him bring his own wide receivers. Okay. So he's going to have his wide receivers there. But that was a big problem to him, was that he didn't know who he was throwing to, but he fixed it, right? He got it fixed. All right, so that problem's gone. Number 2, all footage of the number 3, excuse me. All footage of the workout was controlled by the NFL. Okay, you and your team were going to get a copy of the footage. Yeah. The footage was then going to be sent to all the teams in the NFL. If you were sent the same copy as them, then you're going to see if they did a good or bad job. Now, okay, so they could send you a good copy and then send the rest of the NFL bad copies, and then everyone else there thinks you're bad. There's 25 scouts there that seen it personally. So it does not matter what the footage shows, because they were there to see it. On top of that, if you really have a huge problem with that, you can turn around and just record your own workout. It's not hard for you and your wide receivers.
But wasn't that a problem that he couldn't bring in film? That he couldn't bring in cameras? They weren't going to let him film. The NFL wanted to film it all.
Right, but he wants the people in the public to see it and stuff.
He wanted to like stream it.
Right. He went and did it on YouTube Live, right?
Yeah, he did.
Anyone can make a YouTube account and stream something on there, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, I don't see a problem with him going and throwing some passes to some guys on YouTube.
Yeah, so you're talking about doing a workout post, like a post workout.
Yeah.
Not stream the workout that they had at the NFL.
Right. Not
but that. Do a separate thing on his own dime, and then just show the public that his workout. Okay.
Right.
Okay,
and then show the public, because then if he really was good and everyone's seeing it, the NFL is going to get some noise from that. They're going to feel pressure from it.
I feel you.
The NFL might not like that, but the NFL doesn't like anything he's doing, because I'll get into that later. But he's just antagonizing everyone in the NFL pretty much. And the last thing that his big problem was, if he signed the waiver, he couldn't sue the NFL for certain reasons.
If he didn't get picked up by any team,
right. So, well, it was at the time Monday. It said that like when First Take had those 4 things up, it was that like he wouldn't be able to sue them, and there was some gray area or something, right? Okay. Here is the paragraph. This is the added paragraph. Stephen A. Smith had the version that Kaepernick was sent, and then he had the usual version. He had the exact version, actually, from 2011 that Kaepernick signed. All right?
Okay.
So the one difference is that at the end of, like, the 9th paragraph, it just says they changed instead of just saying the NFL, it says, like, the NFL, all 32 teams, and, like, its associates and all subsidiaries, blah, 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 whatever, right?
They added specific language, yeah.
Okay. So that's not a big deal. The problem is this one paragraph. The part that was added says, I acknowledge that neither this agreement nor my participation at the camp creates an employment relationship or otherwise constitutes a promise of current or future employment with the NFL, their teams, or any of their subsidiaries. So,
Okay.
all that is given. That's given the NFL protection in saying that you can't sue us if you don't get on a team.
Yeah, basically what it boils down
Right.
to is this does not constitute for current or future employment.
Right.
This is a private workout for you.
Right. And so to most of us that would seem regular, but his lawyer even said that it was malpractice for him to sign that because of that. And so they just wouldn't agree to it because of that.
Okay.
Right. That was Cap's 4 problems. I then went to list and I said my 9 problems. All right.
Oh my gosh.
So I'll try to go through this real quick. Number 1, Kaepernick told the NFL at 2:30. Right. We've been through that. He told him at 2:30, and it was 51 miles away. Like, obviously, all these teams aren't going to be.
He told them way too late.
Yeah, he told them way too
late. And in telling them too late, and I heard this on First Take as well, and they made an excellent point that if you're having a workout at a school and it's 51 miles away, to have a workout at a high school, you can't just walk in and have a workout at high school. Superintendent, principal, someone in the administration has to approve it. That means that it was planned. You had people showing up wearing certain types of apparel. You had videographers there. This was not put together in an hour and a half when he told the NFL he was going to change it.
According to Cap's team, 9 o'clock or Friday night. Sorry, not 9 o'clock. I don't know where that came from. Friday night they started developing a new plan. Okay. So Friday night they were like, "This is what we're going to do." They started putting pieces in order and everything, and you can't tell me that it took until 2:30 the next day to get everything
to make
organized.
Sure that it was actually going to happen.
Right. Because they like Stephen A. Smith was saying there was people with shirts that like Cap had given out to make sure they were wearing them and stuff like that.
Right.
All kinds of stuff. Next up, on Tuesday, he agreed not to have the media there. So on Tuesday, when Kaepernick agreed, right? Oh, he had 48 hours. He was under so much pressure. Whatever. In 2 days, you can make a decision to do it, and if you want the media there or not. Because his big problem now is like, we wanted media transparency. That's why we came out here. But you said like you didn't really say anything to the media, and then you left, right? But
he made a statement at the end, and he streamed it, and then he said, "I'm going to let my workout speak for itself," and then left.
Right. Which, whatever. So the media thing's not even a big deal. Number 3, on Thursday, the NFL agreed to let him have his wide receivers. I said that already, so he can't complain about the wide receiver problem. Number 4, if all the scouts are there, why does the footage matter so much? Number 5, key team. Cap's team developed a new plan Friday night. Said that earlier. 6, the NFL was just protecting itself. Like, there was also other protections in there that said if he got hurt or he couldn't sue him for workman comp and stuff like that.
Basic stuff.
Yeah, they had a problem with that. The XGM of the Titans even said that the basic form was something that everyone has to sign. Any player that comes in to do a workout, it does not matter. It's not a special thing.
Yeah, because if you do a workout and you tear your ACL, they can't be held liable. That's standard stuff.
Right. So if Cap is worried about being able to sue the NFL so much, my next problem is the collusion lawsuit's been settled. They have been through that, right?
Right. Yeah.
So why is he worried about that so much? If he is so worried about getting on the football field, why is he so worried about having the right to sue them if he wants to, right? Because this is like Max Kellerman on First Take was like, signing that waiver would have taken away his rights, like acting like this dude's not going to have freedom of speech anymore or something like that, you know? And so I don't like the words he used. I don't like how he phrased that by saying it was taking away his rights. Like, the NFL is just protecting itself from being sued, right?
Okay.
The NFL even agreed later in the week, they agreed to let him shoot a Nike commercial there. All right? So, like, they've already told him.
Wow. But then didn't they come out and say that Nike came out and said that's just propaganda, that's not true?
Nike contacted the NFL and said that they wanted the NFL to retract that statement, and the NFL said no.
Okay.
And so then Nike went out and said it was just propaganda.
Okay, I just want to get that cleared up because I had heard both sides of the story. Okay.
Right. Well, that's, which one do you believe? Do you believe NFL or Nike? Whatever. Same thing with all this other stuff. Do you believe what the NFL's saying? Do you believe Cap's team? Like, it's all just stuff, right?
Right.
So the NFL, so the NFL, in theory, says that they were going to let them shoot the Nike commercial. And I think Cap's team also agreed to that. I'm not 100% sure on that. I believe that's what I heard, though.
Yeah.
And so the NFL's told them this is a private workout. It's just going to be our teams and stuff. But they agreed to let him bring Nike. And they also agreed to let Cap bring his own team. His own team could come in and watch how it was being recorded. Right?
Right. So they can see and they can observe. Okay.
Right.
Cool.
And then my last problem is just like Cap's actions and mannerisms it's not the look of someone looking for a job. It's the look of someone coming in to make noise. Right?
Right.
He's got his King Kunta shirt on. That's fine and everything. But the big problem surrounding you and the reason you're not in the NFL anymore, in my eyes, is all the drama that comes with it. And so teams see that and they want to know that you're going to act more professional now. And he called out all the NFL execs and everything, and he was like, I want Roger Goodell and the rest of the 32 teams to stop running away. And so every time he gets a chance, he's taking shots at the NFL. And I get that it's not a good relationship, but you're asking for a job from these people.
Right. So to a certain degree, you have to kind of...
You need just act professional.
Sure.
That's it.
Sure.
Just act professional.
Getting into... So okay, all right, I'm with the list. And for the most part, it all sounds like reasonable stuff, right? Like standard things that they would ask to agree to. I want to preface what I'm about to say with this point. Kaepernick, and again, I'm with Kaepernick in the from his stance of he had been okay.
Look, we're not talking about we're not talking.
I know we're not talking about that. I just want to just preface that.
Right, that's what I was
going to stand with Kaepernick's basic premise that he had been unjustifiably blacklisted,
right,
from NFL teams, which is why the NFL. I don't know again why they're doing it now. I don't have an answer to that question of all of a sudden why did they pick this random Saturday to do a workout? I don't know the answer. I don't know if we're ever going to know that answer. But this is why the NFL provided Cap with this workout, because it, as Stephen A says, it provides the shield to all 32 teams. If a random team, let's say the Dallas Cowboys, brought in Kaepernick for a private workout and they don't sign him, then they could be accused of X, Y, and Z. Or if they do sign him, then they take on certain criticisms from other fans because of Kaepernick doing X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And they didn't want to have to deal with that. So that way, so representatives can show up and just see what Kaepernick's doing, because it's an NFL-held private workout. It provides a layer of cover for all the teams that are potentially interested. That's great. So I want to say Kaepernick blew any and all shot that he had of getting back in the NFL and enriching his point for social justice by getting back into the NFL by skipping that workout. I think that's a huge mistake. I think he should have showed up. I think and like you said, to some degree, if you are asking for a job from somebody, you have to be willing to bend a little bit to what they want. And I'm not saying bend completely, but I'm saying because he got things that he wanted throughout the process of making that deal, right?
Right.
So I just want to say that from what I'm about to say.
Right. So real quick, while you're taking a drink, I want to say that just for everyone that's listening, not for me and you, Jack, because me and you know what's going on, but anyone that's listening, sure. I don't want anyone to think that we disagree or look down upon Colin Kaepernick for what happened 3 years ago when he was in the NFL, for him kneeling with the pledge and all that stuff. Like, we understand that social injustice is a huge problem in the United States, and we hope it gets better and stuff, but we're not talking about that now. That's not what the problem was this past weekend.
Right. Exactly.
We're dealing with the reality of what it is right now. We're not dealing with what it should be or what the perfect world would be.
Right, and that's all I was about to say. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, and so I just wanted to clear that up because I don't want anyone to be like, oh, well, they just.
We're not here to make this a podcast about if Kaepernick was right or wrong. right? You can
Right.
believe what you want to believe. Personally, I don't care if he's kneeling, but that's just me.
Right.
So, again, think what you want to think. It doesn't matter to me, one way or
But
the other.
right, but just you said like why they did the workout. I think what you said is 100%. They
Yeah.
gotta teams didn't want to bring him in because of what comes with him, right? So like this is my big point. I've got it here. It says big thought. Okay, I've got stars around it, so it's important.
Ooh,
okay,
I like
this
it.
is the biggest takeaway from this. Nobody wants a second string quarterback that's going to bring the drama of a star player on your team. He'll come onto your team and he'll be the backup quarterback that most likely will not get on the field, and he's going to be just as much of a drama problem as Odell Beckham or
Right.
Antonio Brown.
The teams have to decide if they want to take that on.
Yeah. And so like for the people that want to blow me up and just be like, "Oh, he went to the Super Bowl. He was okay, look, like Jackson said earlier, multiple people that went and seen his workout said that he looked like a good second string quarterback. I'll accept that. Someone said he had elite arm talent, but this was just a workout. What did he do in the NFL 3 years ago? Which, by the way, he hasn't played in 3 years, like I just said. So you've been off the field for 3 years. And so, do you think you're better now than you used to be? Probably not. Last 11 starts, he was 1-10. His last 16 starts, he was 3-13. Okay? All right. He went to the Super Bowl. After that, he just wasn't the same.
Right.
He wasn't that good. He lost his job to Blaine Gabbert twice, who was garbage.
Yeah, Blaine Gabbert.
Lost his job, Jackson. Blaine Gabbert won the job from him.
I know. Now, up until him missing this workout, I was all for Kapernick getting a shot, competing for a backup job, maybe even competing for a starting job somewhere. Who knows? Maybe he's gotten better in the last 3 years. I don't know. I haven't seen his workouts. I was with him getting his opportunity because, again, and I've said this before, I didn't have a problem with his drama or anything. It doesn't bother me personally. That's just my personal belief. But when you miss your opportunity at a workout, that to me erases his not. I'm not gonna say erases all he's done, because he's done some stuff off the field that I think is important. But I think it takes away a platform any platform that he could have had before to stand on. Saying that he wanted a chance, wanted an opportunity. He got it, but he didn't show up.
He's splitting everyone because in the beginning, everyone's like, okay, Cap's going to get his chance. This is it. We'll see what happens, right?
Right.
And so everyone's hoping that he does good and gets his deal, right?
Yeah.
But he split everyone. He split all that group of people, that fan base of people that were thinking that. He split it in half to one half is like, the NFL just doesn't want him in there, right? The NFL just doesn't want him there, and everyone's hating the NFL. And then he split the other half to, well, you obviously don't want to play football, but if football was your most important thing, if that was the most important thing to you was getting on a team, which is what he said, then you would have gone to that tryout.
Yeah.
You know,
you're right. He split him down the middle.
And so he's not helping. 8 teams cared enough. Like, you upset people immediately by moving that.
Yeah, especially that close to what was already a scheduled workout. Right. An hour and a half. That's barely time for them to drive to the new venue.
So I want you to listen to who showed up. The Chiefs, they don't want a quarterback. Okay. The Jets, I think they like Sam Darnold.
They do, but again, they're looking for a backup job. Okay. Looking for a backup.
Right. The Bills need someone, right?
Yeah. I feel like they're pretty invested in Josh Allen at the moment, but I
think they need someone. Yeah. The Chargers, we're going to talk about Phillip Rivers later.
Yeah.
The Titans, I think we're going to get Tannehill, but Kaepernick doesn't fit what we'd want to do.
Right. It's kind of not that RPO kind of style.
Yeah. As a backup maybe, but I don't think the Titans want that drama. Like I said earlier, you don't want that drama with the second string. 49ers showed up. He has history with the 49ers.
That makes sense.
He could go be a backup with 49ers. It'd be perfect. The Redskins are in desperate need of a savior.
Yeah, they would be looking at any and all options. That makes sense.
Yeah. And he could come in and he could, since he is a vet, I think he could help Haskins.
Yeah.
And then lastly, the Lions. Matthew Stafford's going to be there for forever, but backup.
Currently hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Potential backup. So that's it. So it like you got 8 teams out of 25 to change.
Yeah. Crazy.
He obviously didn't win in this.
No.
Like he's controlling the narrative, but he's not going to win with this.
Sure. And I think bottom line, and we'll move on to Hometown Heroes, but bottom line, we both think that he made a mistake by missing this workout. Is that right?
Yeah, if you want the job, you just kind of have to go, you know.
Agreed. You have to do that.
Yeah, as long as this is the only difference in the liability waiver, like you don't get a job, you can't sue them. You've already sued them, and the collision thing's done. Like I don't see any other reason. If you really want to play football, you should go. That's just what I think.
Yeah, sort of thing. All right, let's get into some Hometown Heroes. Brand new segment that we've kind of put together instead of doing kind of separate ones and making it a little more long-winded. Me and Lucas each talk about our favorite hometown teams. Me talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Lucas talking about the Tennessee Titans, which I'm curious to see what he has to say because they had a bye this week. So we'll see. You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You're up first. Your 3 things you liked and didn't like.
I got it. Okay. So I made this list earlier on today, and especially while watching the game. I'm going to go over my 3 things that I did like, and I'll try and keep it brief. Number 1, the Dak attack, Lucas.
Played good.
Prescott. Yes, Dak Prescott is leading the NFL in passing yards. I don't think I've ever seen a Cowboys quarterback lead the NFL in passing yards.
Yeah.
Not while Drew Brees and Patrick Mahomes and
on like Good Morning Football or whatever.
Yes.
One of them said that Dak needs to be. I think that's where it was. It was that or First Take. I don't know. All these ESPNs, they just run together, man. All the colors blend. Anyways. The important thing is that they're saying that Dak belongs in the MVP conversation now. In the conversation.
That was part of my Dak attack like.
Ooh. Okay, I'm sorry.
So
I didn't know if you'd heard it. Well, you've been so busy lately. I didn't know if you were watching.
I have been busy. No, I got you. I appreciate you looking out for me though. Yeah. So Dak attack is absolutely real, okay? He went 29 of 46, so we're throwing the ball a lot, for 444 yards and 3 touchdowns, Lucas. He is playing on fire. Fun fact, also that they're saying that he should be in the MVP conversation. I don't hate that personally. I love it. That is my quarterback being in the MVP conversation. Anyway, did you know, Lucas, he is the first Cowboy in franchise history with 3,000 pass yards at the 10-game mark of the regular season? The first Cowboy.
I did not. You know, Tony Romo probably would have done it, but I don't think he ever made it through a whole season without being injured. But
he did a couple times, but
it was a joke.
I see what you're going there. Yeah. Appreciate it, dog. But yeah, that's over. Rod Staubach, Tony Romo, Troy Aikman. None of them have done this before. And Dak's only getting better. So that's my number 1 to like. Dak's playing absolutely well. The Lions are basically daring us to beat them through the air, and we did. Number 2, we have more than one receiver, Lucas. And I love that. That is a plus. Michael Gallup, okay, had 9 catches for $148. Randall Cobb had 4 catches for $115.
Picked him up in fantasy.
It's a good pickup. Solid pickup. Okay. And you should be starting him. He's playing incredibly well. But so the fact that we have more than one receiver who can catch the ball is amazing. I think Gallup is personally, I think we have the number 1 and number 2 best wide receivers in the NFC East. And I don't think that's stretching. Yeah, NFC East, not NFL. Okay.
Yeah, when you said I was like, what?
No, I'm not gonna say anything that would be that blasphemous.
Deshaun Jackson.
Okay. Deshaun Jackson's been hurt. Okay. And he's a little bit older. All right. I would take a Michael Gallup right now over Deshaun Jackson, even if Deshaun Jackson was healthy. I know you're looking at me crazy.
Keep going. You're delusional.
All right. Number 3, we are still in first place. Okay, it's a competitive division. We should be 8-2 right now, but we're 6-4. The Eagles are behind us at 5-5. There is still hope for the playoffs. We have to win the division if we want to make the playoffs, but there is still hope. Those are my 3 likes. Getting into the dislikes now. Zeke isn't eating. He's not. He's not eating the Fruit Loops. He's not eating the cornflakes, the frosted anything. He's not eating it all. This is the first time in his career he's had fewer than 50 rushing yards in back-to-back games. That's his first time in his career that this has happened.
Yo, I want to know.
What?
Sorry, I just want to know: is it because the defenses are stacking on him, or is it
I think it's a combination.
problem?
I think it's a combination of things. He had 16 carries for 45 yards, and he had 1 touchdown that came from the goal line. But he also fumbled on the very first play of the game.
Yeah,
right.
Ripped
Put us in a
fantasy.
hole early. Yeah, exactly. Ripped to the fantasy. So to address your point, I think it's a combination of things. One, I think it's the defense is saying, okay, historically, the Cowboys go as Zeke goes. If Zeke is running the ball effectively, play action opens up. The tight ends are able to get a little more wide open. Cooper's able to get one-on-ones down the field. It helps everything. And that's true in all cases of the NFL. If you're running the ball well with, say, Dalvin Cook or Zeke or Alvin Kamara, or whoever it is, Saquon Barkley, it's going to open up the rest of the field. It opens up your playbook. You don't become one-dimensional. So I think that's what some defense is doing. They're saying, Dak, you want to go earn your contract? Beat us through the air. The good thing is, that was my number 1 like. Dak is beating you through the air. Okay, multiple games with 400 yards this season. He's leading the NFL. Number 2 thing I dislike, or actually a number 2 combination of what I was talking about previously. 1, about the defenses. 2, I don't know. Some of this problem has to be on Zeke as well, right? Like his cuts just don't seem to be as fluid. And again, I don't know if that's just all of the
he got a little injury, you
back
think?
in the box. I don't know if he's nursing something. I'm not sure, but he seems a little bit off. But when he's catching the ball in open space, he made a beautiful catch against the Lions earlier on. Later, right? Caught a little screen, one-handed, got back on his feet. He wasn't, he avoided stumbling and hit the acceleration button, hit the afterburners to get to the end zone. So I think, I think it's our offensive our line's been pretty banged up. The defense is low in the box. Maybe he's missing a little bit of a step, but for whatever reason, he's not eating. And if we're going to make it far in the playoffs, we have to get Zeke going. We have to figure that out. Number 2 thing I disliked, another slow start. 3 points in the first quarter.
This is 3 weeks in a row, folks.
Yeah, 3 weeks in a row. Fumbled the very first play. We had an interception on the very first play a couple weeks ago against the Giants. We're punting on the 3rd drive. We get a field goal on the 2nd. It's just, we're starting slow. It takes forever to get the engine going and warmed up. And that is a huge problem for us because we are not winning games against teams that are above 500. We're not beating Green Bay. We're not beating New Orleans. We're not beating Minnesota. And these are teams that we're going to have to play in the playoffs, right? If we want to make it. So we have to figure out a way to start faster, get Zeke going quicker, get him going, period. And then we'll be fine. We're averaging 30 points a game. But the thing is, most of those points are coming in the second half. We have like 21 points one quarter and 3 points the next. It's just not consistent. If we could start faster, build a lead, it really works to the scheme of this team. Let those defensive linemen pin their ears back. Let our linebackers just roam free with their speed. Sean Lee, Jalen Smith, and Leighton Vander Esch, I think the best linebacking core in the NFL. Let them run around and make all their tackles. It helps everything out if we just start a little bit quicker. Number 3 thing I disliked. Cooper seems hurt. He's nursing some kind of an injury. He's got kind of an ankle, knee thing going on. He's not able to make the quick cuts on the routes that he's usually been able to. Now, he did come back out on the field, and he made a couple big plays for us. So he made a couple first downs. But the Lions were able to take him out of the game. And I'll end this with one overall point. The fact that the Lions were able to take Cooper out of the game, 1, because he's nursing an injury, 2, because they double covered him the entire game, and they're able to take Zeke away, and we're still coming out with a W is huge for us overall as a franchise. So if we can figure out a way to click on all cylinders, we have the potential to make a deep run in the playoffs. But that's it for me for Hometown Heroes, my 3 likes and dislikes, Lucas.
I love it.
You have any comments?
I do want to say that your linebackers have not been that great the past like 2 weeks, from what I've seen. And I don't know what's going on with them because look at them on
That was
paper.
going to be one of my other points. Defense has been kind of
Yeah, and it's
suspect,
like something's a little iffy.
But I think part of that too comes from they're on the field quite a bit, and if we're not sustaining drives early and gassing them before the first half, it's that leads to a bit of a problem. But you're right. Yeah, they haven't been performing on the level that you would expect those three names to.
Well, yeah, just not even like they did earlier in the year. There seems to be something a little weird lately.
Van Der Esch coming off a concussion protocol. He's coming off a kind of a neck injury as well. Sean Lee obviously is a little older, but he still has a quick step. Jalen Smith's doing all he can, but it's a combination of things.
Yeah, good news is I did see that Jason Garret had a meeting with the players.
He did.
And took some responsibility for some stuff, and apparently the team responded really well. So
it was well received.
So that's good. So the second part of the Hometown Heroes is obviously the Tennessee Titans, Jackson.
Yeah, what are you going to talk about since they had a bye week?
Look. This is what you need to know. We control our own destiny.
Learn me something, Lucas.
This is it. The Titans control it all, buddy. All right? So I'm sitting here. I'm evaluating. It's that time. There's 6 weeks left.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's correct. It's time to start looking at who's going to make the playoffs, right? And so I'm sitting here, and I'm evaluating my team's road to the playoffs, and I'm going to lay it out for you. There's 2 ways you can make the playoffs, Jackson. What are they?
Well, you win the division or you get a wild card spot.
Boom. There you go. All right, so I'm going to lay out how either one of those can happen. Number 1, the division. So the AFC South division, the Colts are in first place at 6-4.
Yeah.
The Texans are in second place at 6-4, but the Colts won their match. The Titans are in third at 5-5.
Right behind them.
Jacksonville is at fourth at 4-6. Okay.
Yeah, so it's 2 games.
Extremely close. I think it's the closest division in football.
It is.
And I've said that all year. Like the most competitive within themselves, they're always like that. So in terms of the division, right? So to win the division is what I mean. Here's what the Titans play. So the Titans play the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So if we beat the Colts, that's 1 loss for the Colts. Then they're 6-5.
Yeah.
And then they play some other teams like the Bucks, the Saints, and the Panthers. So we win, and then they lose 2 games. Like, can you see the Colts losing to the Bucks, the Saints, or the Panthers? Like, I can. That's their harder teams that they play.
I think so.
Definitely to the Saints, and then to the Panthers, for sure.
Game.
I think the Bucks could put up points on them more than they could keep up with, potentially.
Yeah. So those are some tougher games.
Yeah. So if the Colts lose 3 games, they're 9-7. They're done, right? The Texans. They play the Titans twice.
Mm-hmm.
If we win, let's just say we win one of those, they still have to play the Colts. Okay.
Yeah, that's a tough game.
Yeah, that's another tough game for the Colts too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the Colts will win that though, so I didn't put it. They have to play the Patriots, and then they have to play the Broncos and the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
So they're 6-4. They're going to lose to the Patriots. That's a loss. So then they have 5 losses. Let's say they lose to us both times. That's 7. They're out of the playoff race.
It's a big if.
Yeah. Well, if they lose to us once and then they lose to the Colts, they're 9-7. They're out of the playoff race, right?
Yeah.
So
if they split that, yeah.
Right. And I think we will split it, especially with how close it's going to be. And their defense is looking a little sus after last week. I know they played the Ravens, which is like super number one offense right now. Yeah, but like J.J. Watt's gone, Jadeveon Clowney's gone. That's always been our big problem going against them. Has been those edge guys.
Yeah,
their secondary is pretty weak, and we beat them last year with Blaine Gabbert. Come at me, all right? So
Gabbert, I can't believe he was in the NFL. Okay,
yeah,
go ahead.
So honestly, we could win the division, right?
Mm-hmm. There is a path.
There's a path. When you look at the wild card, all right, so the Buffalo Bills are number 1 wild card team right now. They're 7-3. They need to lose 4 games. They play the Broncos, the Cowboys. So they're going to lose the Cowboys. They play the Ravens. They're going to lose the Ravens. Okay? They play the Patriots. They're going to lose to the Patriots.
Patriots
That's
for the
3.
dub.
So
Yeah.
then they need to lose one more game to get out of the playoffs. Do you think they might lose a game to the Jets, to the Steelers, or to the Broncos? The
One of those 3
Bills?
teams might. Yeah. Yeah,
Honestly, I don't think they make it.
Okay.
Personally, I don't. I I think the Raiders are going to be a wild card team, but
Isn't that a surprise?
yeah, that is crazy. But the Raiders are 6-4 right now, so they need to lose 3 games. The Raiders play the Chiefs. They're going to lose that. That's 1. They play the Titans. We control our own destiny, Jack. That's what I'm saying. We play all these teams.
You got to beat the Raiders, man. You got to beat them.
Boom. That's 2. And then they play the Chargers, Broncos, Jaguars, and Jets. And I could see any of those teams beating them.
Yeah, but man.
They play the Chargers?
Yeah, they already beat them once.
The Broncos?
A tougher game, but I think it's winnable.
Yeah, right. Like, these are all close games. Jacksonville could beat them, you know?
Right. You never know. It depends on who shows up that Sunday.
Yeah. Exactly. And so, like, I think they'll probably end up going 10-6. But there's a chance. I'm holding out hope.
There is a chance. I'll give you that. There is a chance.
And then the other wild card team, the last one, is the Steelers at 5-5. So
I think they're going to lose several games now that they don't have Pouncey.
And they only need to lose 2 more games.
Juju. Yeah.
And they play the Browns. They'll lose that. They play the Cardinals. They might lose that, as sad as that is. They play the Bills. They might lose that, although I'd love them to beat the Bills.
Yeah.
And then they play the Jets and the Ravens, and they're definitely going to lose to the Ravens. So I think the Steelers. Yeah, I think the Steelers and the Bills are out of the wild card race, and I think you're looking at the Raiders as the number 1 wild card team,
and the Titans,
and then you're looking at the Titans making it into the wild card, or the runner up in the AFC South being like Houston or the Colts if the Titans were to win.
Okay.
Boom. See, but we play all these teams. We play the Texans. We play the Texans twice. They only need to lose 3 times.
Yeah, you control your own destiny, Lucas.
That's it. See, so I just wanted, destiny. You know, all these people call me crazy. I just want everyone to know that like it is very real.
And Ryan Tannehill's been playing out of his mind. You guys are coming off a huge win against Kansas City. The confidence is through the roof. He absolutely won that locker room with his fourth quarter comeback drive. So it's
3-1.
All hands are at deck. 3-1. You're well rested. Here we go.
He's 3-1. All right. I will say we play Jacksonville. I think we win that.
And I think so too.
And then we play the Colts.
That's a tough game.
Yeah, we play in Indy.
It's always a tough game against the Colts. Yeah.
Right. So T.Y. Hilton's hurt right now. If they don't have him, I think we definitely win though. Yeah. Anyways, I'm assuming we win that because they beat us earlier and we got a different quarterback now and the whole team's playing better because of it. After that we play the Raiders in Oakland, which is going to be a hard
game.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard game, honestly.
Josh Jacobs is no scrub.
No, but I think we're better than them. That's just me.
I feel you.
Our defense, I think our defense can hold them. They don't have anything at the wide receiver that really scares me.
Yeah, well, you went. You beat Kansas City, so I'm done doubting you. You beat Kansas City.
Can't doubt me no more. And then after the Raiders, we have Texans, Saints, Texans.
Ooh, that's a really hard stretch there.
So we can lose 1 game through this whole deal.
Oh, Lucas.
Because we know all the Texans fans and Colts fans are saying, well, hey, they've only got to lose 2 games, and they'll be out. Who are they going to lose to? Are they going to lose to the Colts? Are they going to lose to the Saints, the Texans, who they have to play twice? The Texans are different right now than they were before, though.
And if you beat the Colts and split the series with the Texans and beat the Raiders, you're in. Because you're going to lose against the Saints.
No, we won't.
Okay, Lucas. All right.
We won't lose. We won't lose against Saints. I got this. We won't lose. Now we might lose to Jacksonville Sunday, but we won't lose to the Saints.
And that is how the AFC South makes perfect sense, apparently.
All right.
Okay. What's next?
So, anyways, look, I don't know why Jackson has to do this. Like, what's our next topic? Like, I don't know when we're transitioning. All right. If y'all haven't noticed, we do like we wink at each other and Jackson does this creepy smile at me when it's time to change. He doesn't really do that, but like I would way rather do something like that than just what's our next topic. All right, I'm putting that down as a comment on our YouTube video. Never mind. Jackson's not a good winker. For anyone watching on YouTube, he's a terrible winker.
I was making it obvious.
So take it or leave it is next, Jackson.
Oh, this is my favorite topic. I love take it or leave it.
So take it or leave it, for anyone that doesn't know, is it's a little section we do. All right, I come up with about 5 things or whatever. I take it or leave it, kind of hot topic deals, whatever. They're always a good time. They're always a fun time. Jackson loves them. Okay.
I do love them. Lucas makes me happy with take it or leave it.
I think I got some decent ones today. I got to make up. Last week I didn't think it was too good, but I think they're pretty good this week. So number 1, Jackson.
Hit me with it.
Take it or leave it. Tom Brady is the problem with the Patriots offense.
Leave it.
Leave it?
Absolutely leave it. How dare you suggest that the GOAT is a problem?
No, this ain't me suggesting stuff. Don't act like I'm suggesting things. Because I get to take it or leave it too.
And anyone who suggests that the GOAT is himself a problem with any type of offense is kidding themselves.
Max
Absolutely
Kellerman.
leave it. Okay, well, Max Kellerman needs to, I don't know, dude.
He's
to go do a job or something.
Well, they call him like Max Ledgerman because he always says Brady's coming up on a ledge.
Yeah, and Brady continues to defy time itself.
Well, I'm also going to leave it just because like him and Wentz didn't play that great the other day, but what does Brady have? Granted, what does Wentz have? His wide receivers can't catch the ball, but I think Wentz is extremely overrated, and I think Tom Brady is the GOAT, so come at me. Next, take it or leave it. It's kind of a 2-parter, all right?
Okay.
So the first part, take it or leave it. Phillip Rivers needs to retire at the end of this year.
Ooh.
Or next year. I'll give you this year or next year.
Give me this year or next year?
Yeah, because take it or leave it. He needs to retire within the next year and a half.
Within the next year and a half. I'm gonna say leave it. I think he could play for 3 more. I don't know if he should, but I feel for the guy because I really think he's gonna end up being one of the greatest to never win it. You know, he's come so close. I saw a stat that he has lost 61 games by 7 or fewer points.
I've got that all written down right here for the next part.
It all?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's so close in so many games. He threw 4 interceptions last night. And I'm gonna say leave it. I think he still has a couple left in the tank, and I think he can. I think the Chargers, with what they have on their roster, are capable of greatness. They just got to put it together.
I'm taking it.
You're taking it. Okay. He needs to
like if, but I kind of have like, if he's going to stay with the Chargers, if he wants to stay with the Chargers, I think he needs to leave next year probably.
Okay.
If he wants to go to another team, and I can see that maybe, but I just don't. He's not going to get it done with the Chargers.
Number one, I don't think the Chargers should have left San Diego.
Yeah,
I think they had a good thing going in San Diego. I think they had a great fan base. They were always showing up, and now they're in home games, and most of the jerseys are for the other team.
Yeah,
it's pitiful.
And so I don't think their coach can get them over the top. I don't think Phillip Rivers has it in him to get them over the top anymore either. He's got 7 interceptions in the last 2 games. I watched him last night on Monday Night Football throw a chance ball up to Austin Eckler, I believe, and like a linebacker, like someone else that's just bigger than him, and I'm just like, I mean, I know you're kind of under some pressure in a little bit, but it's time to throw the ball away, my man. Like, what are you doing, Phillip? You're killing me. I wanted them to beat the Chiefs because it's cool to see big teams like that get beat, and he's going down this awesome 1 or 2 minute drive and just completely destroys it. So you brought up the stat of the 61 games, right? So I've took it a little farther. All right, so my next question, take it or leave it, Rivers, it is officially okay to label Phillip Rivers as a choke artist or as a choker. Okay?
As a choke artist.
So this is why. Listen.
Okay.
He's lost 61 games in his career by a touchdown or less, okay?
Yeah.
That is out of 223 games. That is 27%. That is 4 games a year on average he loses by a touchdown or less.
Yeah. Yeah.
And last night, sorry to interrupt you a little bit, but I think last night just showed it. Like, dude went down the field and just choked. He just
Yeah.
lost the game. Your team's kept you in it. You've thrown 3 interceptions, and you want to throw a 4th one to lose?
Like, what are you doing? Yeah, I think you have to take it at this point. I mean, I remember watching him when I was in high school, and he would get so close, right? He would beat Peyton Manning in the playoffs. You're like, oh, here come the Chargers. Then he'd go to Foxborough, right? Or he'd go to Baltimore, and then he would lose a very, very easy game. He's gotten, I think, to the AFC Championship once or twice. He's been close, but just no cigar. And choking, man, just choking. You know, if you lose 61 games in your career, 27% by a
4 a
touchdown or
year?
fewer, and
4?
not, yeah, 4 per year, and not all of that's your fault, of course. Like, you know, you've had bad defenses, you've had bad receivers at times, right? You know, whatever. But a certain percentage of that has to be your fault, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, like, I can think of 2 off the top of my head recently. Like,
Last
okay,
night,
last night, obviously, like, that was his chance, right? Like,
yeah,
and then the other one's against the Titans. Like, you got a chance to come down the field, and you get stopped 4 plays in a row on the goal line. And I get
yeah,
that you ran every single one of those, but
hmm
you can audible. You're Phillip Rivers. If you want to pass the ball, you tell the coach you want to pass the ball, and you pass it in there, and you win the game for him.
right, yeah. So 2 games
But
there, it's
yeah,
crazy. Yeah, so I would say take it.
crazy stuff, man.
He's going to be one of the best to never do it.
Yeah, I heard 61, and I was like, how many games has he played? 223. That's like 27.35%, which is like 4.3 games a year. That's
Absolutely
wild.
insane. Numbers don't lie.
So, take it or leave it, Mr. Jackson.
Yeah.
Tua's newest injury, right? You know about it, right?
Yeah, he's got the hip
Yeah.
pointer, I think is what it was diagnosed
So
as.
take it or leave it. Tua's newest injury will keep him from getting drafted in the first round
Ooh,
if he comes out this year, which he's expected to.
leave it. I think there's a chance he falls late. I don't know if a top team like like a San Francisco or a New Orleans now, or even somebody like a LA, like even the Rams, like whoever. I don't think that they wouldn't take one. They wouldn't take Tua if it falls to him. I think he's going to fall in the draft significantly because of this, and there obviously is a chance that he falls out of the first round. But Tua being the special talent that he is, I think even if he's injured and you have a quarterback like, let's say, an Aaron Rodgers, who you are confident in having for the next 3 to 4 years, and let Tua develop, then you might take a chance and grab Tua. At the very least, you can use him
So,
as draft ammunition or as a trade ammunition later.
well, right, but if all the other, my thing is just so he hurt his hand,
Yeah.
and then he's hurt both of his ankles and had surgery on both of them, and now this hip thing has happened within a year and a half span. Like he's made
Yeah.
it through a season and a half, and he's had 4 injuries, and that's just wild, right?
Yeah.
Like
It's
that
it's
is.
crazy. That's why I think he needs to go somewhere and sit for 2 years.
I just wonder if
And
he's brittle though. Like if he's just brittle.
maybe he might be, but I think he needs to go to a place where he can have the opportunity to learn and not be shoved into the fire straight away. I mean, there's different quarterbacks that have been able to do that. Like Aaron Rodgers, for example, sat behind Brett Favre for 4 years, and when he came out and he was ready, he was absolutely lights out.
Yeah, but did he have injury issues in college?
No, he didn't, but I think Tua, because he's had injury issues, can benefit from sitting for 2 years and learning the speed of the game. Not all quarterbacks, a lot of quarterbacks right now are getting thrown to the fire, right? Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield.
Right, but the injury thing is not something that goes away when you go into the NFL or if you
No,
sit on the
but you
bench
allow
for 2
him to fully
years.
heal up. Being in a program like Alabama, you can't afford to not be on the field. So maybe he got back on the field before he was fully ready, is my point. So you
Well,
give
the
him a
hip
year.
the hip wasn't related to his other injuries though. And
No,
the
but
hand wasn't related to the ankles.
no, but you being maybe he wasn't all the way healthy to begin with is what I'm saying. and you give him a year or two to rest, and you give him a year or two to learn the speed of the game and to learn the playbook. And if you have Drew Brees who's going to retire in 2 years, or Aaron Rodgers who's going to retire in 4 years, then you take a chance on him late in the first round. Why not? Unless there's somebody else that you specifically want.
I'm leaving it too.
You're at least gonna look at him.
Yeah, I'm leaving it too, just because I think someone would take a chance on him and stuff. My next thing is also about Tua. Take it or leave it. If Tua's stock drops out of the top 10, which I personally think it has, should he just wait and play another year in Alabama? Because that money's different. Marcus Mariota, second number 2 overall pick. That man made like $25 million this year.
I'm going to say leave it, because I think if you have an opportunity to be a first round pick, period, that is huge. And the different advantages that you get in your contract being a first round pick, it's worth it. I think this honestly could be a blessing in disguise, because I think he could end up falling to a really good team where he could sit behind somebody for a year or two and learn the speed of the game and figure it out. But obviously he's going to have to come to that decision. But next year you're competing against Trevor Lawrence, because Trevor Lawrence he's going to come out after his junior year, right? So maybe it could be Tua Trevor as number 1 and number 2 quarterbacks coming out. Because who's coming out this year, right? It's
Burrow.
Yeah,
Jalen
Burrow.
Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Then you got the guy from Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those are the top 3. And Tua, obviously, top 4.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know. I think you just go. I think we have an opportunity to go in and make money for your passion. You do it. Because who knows? Like you said, if he is brittle, right? He stays one more year with Alabama, tears his ACL, and falls to like the 4th or 5th round. And
yeah, I'm taking it.
You're taking it?
I'm taking it, because if he can go and he can play a year at Alabama and prove that he's not brittle, and he can go a year without being hurt, I think he goes number 1 overall probably. And
Possibly.
that's a huge money difference from like the 20th pick or whatever, especially because you're a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, he could fall to a better team and get in a better situation or whatever. But look at the money deal in a football and in a sport such as football, where one hit Alex Smith could end your career.
And he could also run the risk where one more hit ends his career at Bama and he never sees a snap in the NFL.
That's true.
So that's just a decision he's going to have to weigh, which I'm sure he's thinking about, and he's got people talking to him about.
Last one, Mr. Jackson. Take it or leave it. The Ravens are the best team in the NFL.
Leave it.
Ooh.
Leave it. I think they're on an incredibly hot streak, and I think they are an incredibly well put together football team. I think adding Marcus Peters has revolutionized that defense and given them the ability to play man coverage deep down the field, letting their linebackers and defensive linemen, their pass rushers, do a lot of the work. We saw that was evident yesterday 2 days ago against Houston. They had like something ridiculous, like 8 or 9 sacks, maybe a little bit more. But they're on a roll right now, but I don't buy them as the best team in the NFL yet. I don't. I think there's a lot of competition for the top 4. I don't think anybody's a clear-cut favorite yet.
Yeah, I'm also going to leave it for the same reasons.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that they're by far and away the best team.
So quick recap of our picks from last week. So
okay.
Georgia and Auburn played. Georgia won that. Oklahoma and Baylor played. Oklahoma in a stunner came back on that. That was crazy. The Cowboys beat the Lions. The Ravens beat the Texans. The Patriots beat the Eagles. The Chiefs beat the Chargers, and the Browns knocked Kevin Rudolph in the head and defeated the Steelers.
Yes, they did. I probably shouldn't be laughing about that. But.
Yeah, so that brings our record. I am 42-35. I went 6-1, Jackson. Do you know what you went? 7-0.
Did I really get all of them right?
43-34, my man. So you got a 1-game lead on me. It's the first perfect week out of all of us this whole time.
So fitting. That is from me. You're welcome.
It's
You
just
witnessed
because
greatness.
no, it's just because it was an odd week in the NFL. What was it, like week 11? Yeah,
Yeah.
odd numbers, man. Who cares about them? Okay.
All right, dude.
So the new rankings did come out before we did the podcast tonight. So I was able to get the updated rankings for our college games today. It is number 8 Penn State at number 2 Ohio State, Mr. Jackson.
Ohio State.
Same.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly. Ohio State, I think they're, I would love to see an Ohio State LSU national championship, and I think there's a good chance we get that.
That's what we're going to see, and it'll be awesome. Texas at number 13 Baylor. So Texas was ranked when I wrote this down, and then they became unranked about an hour ago. So
my head is down. I am upset, losing a lot of close games this year. My Longhorns just haven't been the same since I left. I think that's just what it is. Baylor.
Ooh. So I'm picking the Texans.
Picking the Longhorns. You're not picking the Texans. That's a Houston team.
I'm picking Texas. Sorry.
Don't be so disrespectful, Lucas.
Disrespectful?
Yeah,
who's been more successful the past 4 years in a row? Or actually, what was it? The Texans haven't had a winning season in 10 years.
Again, the Longhorns.
The
Texas.
Longhorns. I'm so sorry.
You're being disrespectful.
I did it again. I'm sorry your team's
you
bad and I don't care enough to.
What is your team? The Tennessee? The Vols?
What about them? Oh, they're bad. No, they're real bad.
Yeah, they are.
100%.
Yeah. So don't talk about that. Okay, we've been ranked this year. Okay,
you're not ranked now.
No, we're not, but we were at one point, which more than I can say for the Tennessee Volunteers. Yeah. Okay, you're getting me going. Here we go.
Look, what people thought the team was and what they really are is a big difference. I'm picking you to beat number 13 Baylor. I don't know what you want from me.
I appreciate that, but it's just not going to happen.
Look, every time I see Texas, I want to say the Texans. It's just a habit. Okay, I'm sorry.
I know that J.J. Watt has given you PTSD for a long time.
Hey, he's not here anymore, all right? Yeah, I actually don't know if we've had to play him the past 2 years in a row. Counting this year.
He was hurt. He was hurt last year for a bit too.
Crazy stuff. So on to the NFL games. Jaguars at the Titans. I have the Titans, of course.
I got Tennessee.
Ooh. All right, what about the Cowboys at the Patriots?
Oh my God. You're gonna make me do it, aren't you?
I did it already.
You're gonna make me do it, Luke.
I got the Patriots, buddy. Do you care more about your record or your pride? I picked the Titans against the Chiefs last week.
Yes,
I picked the Titans over the Chargers, and you split, and I won that one too. What's up?
You did win that one. This is going to be an incredibly tough game, especially being at Foxborough right before Thanksgiving. But I'll tell you what, I have faith in my boys. I will not waver like Lucas has and pick other teams against his home team. I will show faith every single time, and if that causes me to have a losing record at the end of the season, well, so be it. I will still be a Cowboys fan. Lucas is
and you'll be a loser, just like all the other Cowboy fans.
Lucas
and the team
is
itself.
Not near a Titans fan as I am a Cowboys fan because I pick them every single time.
That's so false. Just because
he doesn't have faith in his team.
He's a phony. I use logic.
What a phony.
Yeah, I don't even know what happens. Whoever wins this, what they get or whatever.
I don't know. We're gonna have to figure that out.
But I did win a bet, my guy, with the Kansas City Chiefs losing. Anyways,
Arizona's gonna get to 4 wins and
Packers at the 49ers. I've got the 49ers. Let me guess. That bad man.
What, that bad man, Aaron Rodgers? Do you not have faith?
No, I don't have faith.
Do you not have faith? Me neither. I'm picking the 49ers.
Good, because I don't have faith in Matt LaFleur.
LaFleur. Yeah, no, I think the 49ers are they're stacked right now. They're playing incredibly good defense. I don't think Matt LaFleur's got a scheme that could beat Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, no, I don't think the Packers are as good as their record, but technically record speaks for itself, so it's whatever.
LaFleur.
Colts at the Texans, Jackson.
Deshaun Watson rebounds. Houston at home.
I got the Colts. Better coach, better team overall.
I think Deshaun Watson's going to have a good showing.
We're splitting a lot on here. Ravens at the Rams?
Ravens.
Man, that was the quickest one you've done.
Lamar Jackson, Marcus
Yeah.
Peters.
I'm also going Ravens just because I don't know what the Rams are doing with their lives. All right.
Todd Gurley had 97 rushing yards.
Yeah, he's had one good game all year.
Yep, that's it.
Now, if he's going to hit his form, now's the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're 5-5. Maybe.
Competing for a wild card.
Don't hold me to that. The NFC looks hard, bro.
It is insane. Absolutely insane right now. It's kind of like the West in basketball. Just
that is
ridiculous.
My notebook is even out of paper. That was my last piece of paper.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go chop down a tree in the back and make some old papyrus. Actually, I don't think the Egyptians made papyrus with trees, but we're not gonna talk about that.
Can you send me some? I'm out of paper too, dog.
No, bro.
I'd appreciate that.
Quick reminder for anyone. Next week is our Thanksgiving episode. All right.
Yeah.
If you liked our Spooktober episode, you should like the Thanksgiving episode, of course. All right. Jackson's gonna dress up as a
we'll have
a
lot
turkey.
to be thankful.
I actually don't know if Jackson's dressing up at all, but we'll see what happens.
Be dressing up as something. So you should definitely tune in to youtube.com/go42podcast to catch all the latest and greatest video content.
Yeah, and then after you watch our videos, you should definitely leave a comment. Subscribe, tell your friends, pals.
Just like Casey.
Come make fun of us. It doesn't matter as long as we get a view and you leave a comment.
Appreciate it. Helps out with the algorithm. Love it. Guys, thanks so much for watching / listening to episode number 15 of the Go 42 podcast. We are available where all podcasts can be heard: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and more. Be sure to check us on YouTube at youtube.com/Go42 podcast to catch all the latest and greatest video content that we got pumping out. You're going to really like next week's episode, the Thanksgiving episode. We'll have a lot to be thankful for, and definitely thankful for an incredible NFL season so far. Lots to talk about. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Lucas, you got any final comments?
Nope.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening. We love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.